So good morning, and thanks a million for joining me on the yoga mat this morning. This week's focus is on the pelvis and the lower back. So we touched on it a little bit in Tuesday morning's class. We're going to delve into a little bit more today. I didn't mention when we're experiencing tightness and pain in the lower back, often I'll talk about the core, the front of the core, particularly those abdominals being disengaged. Or the deeper intrinsic kind of stabilizing muscles around the spine being disengaged. But it can also be related to having tight hamstrings or also tight hips, as we kind of touched on Tuesday. So we're going to spend a little bit of time trying to mobilize into the hips and hamstrings to help relieve the pressure around the lower back. So if you think about the pelvis, if we're tight in the hips, that's going to be tilted forward. Also, if we're tight in the hamstrings, it's going to be tilted back. So those muscles have quite an effect on what's going on in that lower back. So whether it's over lengthened or whether it's compressed. So again, just going to mobilize a little bit into that today. And we'll also work a nice little bit of strength into that whole kind of compass of the body. So we're going to start in a nice, easy cross-legged seat, sitting as comfortable as we can into the spine, relax the shoulders back. Lengthening nice and tall, relax the breath. And we'll inhale, press the chest all the way over to the right, bring it through center, all the way over to the left. And as we exhale, tuck the chin and round into that upper back and continue with your own breath. So this is a really nice one for accessing space in the lower back straight away. And just notice where that lower back is at this morning. So we're trying to create space as we inhale forward. And then as we exhale back, getting a little bit more into the upper spine. And we should feel this into the hips, one a little bit more so than the other. Really allow yourself to get lost in this movement. So softening at the elbows, maybe rolling into the shoulders, maybe even rolling into the neck if it feels good. So allow the head and neck go nice and loose. Relax the breath. Feel free to close the eyes down. So just gently awakening the body. So a lovely movement to do any time of the day, but particularly first thing in the morning. We're going to meet back at center. We'll reverse the crisscross of the legs, palms face down, and then we'll inhale, press the chest to the left, through center, all the way over to the right. And as we exhale, tuck the chin and round, continuing with that lovely rounded movement, trying to get rid of any points of resistance. Noticing how that feels into the opposite hip. Again, really exaggerating the movement. See if you can fold forward a little bit deeper, maybe arch a little bit more in between the shoulder blades. And then eventually we're going to meet back at center in seat, opening the palms to the ceiling. And we'll inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward and stretch. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, arms out, reaching up all the way back in line with the ears. And then exhale, press forward and release. We'll do that once more. Lovely. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, gently fold, reaching forward through the fingertips as far as we can go, and then rest the hands out front, pressing the ground away, shifting the hips a little bit side to side, trying to create as much space in the spine here, maybe walking those finger pads forward. Relax the head, relax the neck, and just notice as we tuck the chin ever so slightly, feeling that into the whole posterior chain of the body. Come up onto the finger pads. We're going to inhale here at center, and as we exhale, walk those hands all the way over to the right as far as we can go. Pressing the finger pads into the ground, really drawing that left sit bone back. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. One more breath on this side. Inhale gently back to center, and as we exhale, walk those hands all the way over to the left. Pressing the ground away, really drawing that right sit bone back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more breath here. Really grounding that right sit bone. And then inhale back through center. And as we exhale, tuck the chin, slowly walk those hands back toward the body. We're going to reverse the crisscross of the legs. Nice and comfortable here, opening the palms. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up. And as we exhale, gently fold, reaching as far as we can reach, and then rest the hands out front, pressing the ground away, shifting the hips a little bit side to side, trying to create as much space into the joints as we can. Maybe walking those finger pads a little bit further out in front. Relax the head, relax the neck. Every inhale, think about lengthening forward through the spine, and every exhale, we're folding, we're sinking, releasing. Notice if it's a little bit easier on this side more so than the other. So again, just tuning in where the hips are at. Coming on to the finger pads, we're going to inhale at center, and as we exhale, go all the way over to the right, as far as we can go. Pressing the ground away, drawing that left hip bone back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more breath. And then inhale back through center as we exhale, walk those finger pads all the way over to the left, pressing the ground away, drawing that right sit bone back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more breath. Inhale back through center. And as we exhale, walk those hands all the way back toward the body. We're going to get into those hips. So we're going to pick the right foot up. We're going to place it into the left hand, knee into the right hand, sit nice and tall into the spine. And we're going to gently rock into that right hip. Bringing the shin as high as feels good. Notice if we're collapsing into the spine, keep pressing the chest forward. Imagining that piece of string attached to the crown of your head, drawing you tall toward the ceiling. If that left foot is in the way, feel free to shift it out to wherever you feel comfortable. And again, we're just looking for a nice natural range here. Slow the movement right down. Let's see how far we go. So we're getting into hip and hamstring here. So again, just a gentle mobilization, freeing up the soft tissue around that lower back, around the pelvis. So in order to engage with a muscle, we need to mobilize it. We need to loosen up into it so that it can work to its full potential. So a muscle can be used, but it can get quite tight. And once it gets really tight, it's no longer really that functional. So we're just trying to create a little bit of movement so that we can access a little bit more strength. Coming back to center, we have options here. We can either come into easy cross-legged with the right foot out front, which most of us will do. Otherwise, we can bring that right foot all the way over to the left, that left foot all the way over to the right, until the knees are stacked or as close to stacked as we can. So easy cross-legged or spaghetti string. We're going to draw the toes toward the knees. And again, just adjust the sit bones here, get nice and comfortable. We can stay here or work into a twist. So left hand comes just above the right knee. We're going to inhale the right arm up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the right, we place the hand on the ground behind us, really close to the lower back. As we inhale, lengthen tall through the spine. And as we exhale, press the left hand into the leg. We're going to draw that right shoulder back and look back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And again, being really mindful here, we're starting that twist in the lower back. We're moving it up into the ribcage, into the chest, and all the way out through the neck. So we're not just twisting the upper body, we're getting all the way down into that lower back. Lengthening tall and release. Nice full belly breaths here. One more breath. And then inhale slowly back through center, little twist to the left, just to release. And then back to center again. From here, we're going to bring the left finger pads out to the left. We're going to inhale the right arm up toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to reach that right arm all the way up to the left, maybe creeping those finger pads out a little bit to the left. As we inhale, reach to the right arm. And as we exhale, hinge a little bit more. We might even come down onto that left forearm, pressing the ground away, keeping the arm right back in line with the ear. One more breath. And then inhale back to center. If we're in our spaghetti string, we're going to gently come out and meet back in our easy cross-legged. Pick it up the left foot, we're going to place it into the right hand, draw the toe toward the knee, place the knee into the left hand, sit nice and tall, maybe bring the shin a little bit higher. And again, we'll gently rock into that left hip, nice and slow. Just looking for a nice natural range here, not forcing it. Just notice if it's a little bit more restricted one side more so than the other. And again, really tuning in where those hips are at. So sometimes we talk about a pelvic tilt forward and back, but often we can have a pelvic tilt left and right. And if one hip is a little bit tighter or a lot tighter than the other, that's what can happen. And then that can cause us to collapse into one side more so than the other, causing lots of little imbalances and compensations down through the body. So even just noticing and tuning in with those imbalances, hopefully addressing them before they become a bigger issue. So again, just really listening to the body. Nice and slow. Meeting back at center, again, options here to come back into easy cross-legged with the left foot out front, or if you want to go a little bit deeper and only if it feels good, we're going to bring that left foot out to the right, that right foot as far out to the left as we can. Try to get those knees as close to stacked, if not stacked, making sure both sit bones are grounded. And we're going to draw the toes toward the knees, whichever seat we've chosen. And then we can just sit here if that's enough. If you want to bring in a little twist, we place the right hand just above the knee and then inhale the left arm up, reach, and as we exhale, gently twist to the left, placing the hand on the ground behind us, really close to the lower back. As we inhale, press the hand into the ground, lengthen, and as we exhale, gently twist. Pressing that right hand into the leg is an extra little bit of leverage, making sure those knees feel stable. So keep drawing the toes toward the knees, keeping those lower legs nice and active. Nice full belly breaths here as we work into our twist. Try to get the front of the body almost parallel to the left side of the room. So really opening into that heart space, engaging into that left shoulder muscle. And just notice how it feels compared to the other side. It's a little bit easier, it's a little bit more uncomfortable. One more breath. And then gently inhale back to center, little twist to the right, just to release. And then back to center again. We're going to bring those right finger pads out to the right on a nice straight arm. We're going to inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, reach the left arm all the way over to the right, really stretching into the sideways. Maybe walking those finger pads a little bit more to the right. As we inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, hinge a little bit more to the right. You may feel that you can come all the way down onto the forearm, depending on where the body is at this morning. One more breath. And then inhale back to center and exhale, release. Again, if we're in our spaghetti, we're going to come comfortably back into our easy cross-legged. And again, just shifting through the hips here, get nice and comfy. From here, we're going to come to lie back onto the ground. Just make sure you do have your block and your strap there beside you. So lying slowly back onto the mat. Knees are bent, feet are flat to start, where we're going to hug the right knee and give it a nice squeeze into the armpit, and then we're going to rest the right ankle just above the left knee, figure 4, and run the toe toward the knee. Press the knee away from the body, grounding that lower back. We're going to lift the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and either interlocking the fingers or wrapping our strap around the back of that left hamstring. As we inhale, gently walk the shoulder blades together, connect the whole length of the spine to the ground. And as we exhale, work the left knee a little bit closer as we press the right knee away from the body. Pardon me. I'm trying to keep that left shin parallel to the ceiling, so just notice that the heel is dropped. And again, we're just going to hold it here, releasing into that right hip. Relax the breath, relax the shoulders. Really pressing that lower back firmly into the ground so you feel super stable here. One more breath here. Release the grip, release the left foot to the ground. Hands come to the ground, fingertips brush the back of the heel. Staying in our figure 4, we're going to work into our bridge. If it doesn't feel good, place both feet down to the ground. We're going to gently peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground. As we lift those hips, we'll walk the shoulder blades together. Pressing hands, arms, shoulders, left foot into the ground, making sure that left foot is in line with the knee and hip and not tracking inward toward the center. Lifting the hips, I want you to imagine the space between the belly button and the heart center, just getting a little bit smaller, so we're really tucking that core in. We're going to inhale, lift, and as we exhale, gently lower, hovering the hips just off the ground. Inhale, really slowly up. Exhale, really slowly lower. We'll do that 3 more times. Keep walking the shoulder blades together so there's no pressure on the head and neck. 2 more. The last one. Excellent. Crossing the right leg fully over the left. We'll extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. We're going to shift the hips a little bit to the right and then allow both knees drop over to the left. Nice little spinal twist here. So our spinal twists are such a lovely way of getting into that lower back. Looking over the right fingertips, make sure that right shoulder is grounded. We might place the left hand on the outer side, just drawing that right leg over a little bit more. We might bend the left knee, walk the left foot back a little bit further, and maybe even catch hold of the front of the foot. Coming into our little pretzel twist, as I like to call it. Keep drawing the right shoulder down. Keep drawing that right leg across the body wherever we are, taking a nice few deep belly breaths in and out through the nose. Every exhale, allow ourselves release a little bit more into the twist. 1 more breath. Release the grip, extend the arms, slowly rolling back. Staying in our easy crisscross legs. We're going to draw the belly in, hug the knees into the chest. Interlock fingers either around the right knee, the left shin, or catch hold of the front of the ankles and work those heels away from each other. Keep hugging the knees into the chest, keeping that lower back grounded. Feel that release into the right hip. If you want a little bit of upper core, we're going to inhale, lift the chest so the head come off the ground, but there's no pressure in the neck. And keep drawing those knees into the chest. Holding it here, relax the shoulders, relax those elbows, holding it, breathing deeply, working those heels away from each other if we're catching hold of those ankles for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the head, release the grip, release the feet back to the ground. We're going to uncross the legs. Lovely. Hugging the left knee in, give it a nice little squeeze into the armpit. We're going to rest that left ankle just above the right knee. Figure 4, opposite side. Draw the toe toward the knee, press the knee away from the body. Stay here if that's enough. Otherwise, we'll lift the right foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling. Either interlocking fingers or strap around the back of that right hamstring. Notice if we're rounding into the upper back to get that reach, definitely use your strap. So use your strap as an extension of the arms. As we inhale, gently walk the shoulder blades together, connect the whole length of the spine to the ground. And as we exhale, draw the right knee a little bit closer as we press the left knee away from the body. And again, we're just going to pause, releasing into that left hip. Keep actively pressing that left knee away. Draw that left toe toward the knee so we're protecting the left knee joint. Relax the breath, melting those shoulder blades together. Lower back, nice and stable on the ground. Full belly breaths here. 1 more breath. And then release the grip. Release that right foot to the ground. Fingertips are brushing the back of that right heel. And again, come onto both feet if you want to work into your traditional bridge. Otherwise, stay with me here. We're going to gently peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift those hips high. We're going to walk the shoulder blades together, taking the pressure off the head and neck, drawing the belly button toward the heart center, really tucking the belly in. Notice if that left knee is up into the air, I want you to really consciously draw it right back down. We're going to inhale, lift. And as we exhale, gently lower the hips, hovering just off the ground. Inhale really slowly up. Exhale really slowly lower. We'll do that 3 more times. Pressing that right foot firmly into the ground, feeling those core muscles engage, feeling that lower back engage, particularly as we lift those hips. Last one. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. We're going to cross the left leg softly over the right, extend both arms out in line with the shoulder palms down. We'll shift the hips a little bit to the left and then allow both knees drop over to the right, taking the gaze over toward the left fingertips. Left shoulder is literally glued to the ground, even if it means coming out of the twist a little bit. Notice if we're not fully in the twist, just shift those hips a little bit more to the left. So ideally looking down, that left hip is stacked on top of the right, and both hips are centered down the midline of the mat. Maybe place the right hand on the outer thigh as an extra little focus. We might bend the right knee a little bit further and walk it all the way out to the left. We might even catch hold of the front of the foot with our hand or strap, but just make sure we can keep drawing that left foot and left shoulder, that they're both solid on the ground. Nice full belly breaths here. Using that belly breath to mobilize into the core from the inside out. Softly, softly. One more breath on this side. And then release, extend the arms back out, slowly rolling back onto our mat, staying in our easy crisscross legs. Pressing lower back into the ground, drawing belly button in. We're going to hug those knees tight into the chest, either interlocking fingers around the left knee, the right shin, or catch hold of the front of the ankles and draw those heels away from each other as far as they can go. Keep hugging the knees into the chest, relax the shoulders, relax at the elbows, feeling that into the left glute. If you want a little bit of upper core, we can lift from the chest, so the head and neck come off the ground. We're hugging the knees to the chest, not the chin to the knees. So a nice relaxed throat here, right? Nice relaxed neck. Holding it here, breathing deeply for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently release the head, release the grip, release the feet back to the ground. We're going to uncross the legs. Pressing that lower back into the ground. I want you to really feel that lower back. Hands are rested on the belly. We're going to do a few little pelvic tilts here. So feet are about hip width distance apart. We can actually get our block here if you want an extra little bit of activation, and place it with the shorter end. So we're pressing the knees into the block. It's about a fist between the knees here, using our block or any other block-like object. We're going to inhale, arch through that lower back, so the belly is rising. And as we exhale, press the lower back into the ground, really strong. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower, really pressing that lower back into the ground. Continue with your own breath, so just gentle pelvic tilts. Engaging, releasing. And just notice how much range we have here. So for some people, we can get a lovely big arch going. For others, we're just getting a couple of centimeters or a couple of mil off the ground. So just being conscious of where that lower back mobility is at. And these pelvic tilts can be a really nice way of just accessing a little bit more space, but still using the support of the ground. So a little bit like our cat-cow curls, but we're just focusing in on that pelvic tilt. And then coming back to stillness, we're going to release the block off to the side. We're going to bring the feet off the ground, coming into lovely 90-degree angles at the hips, at the knees, and at the ankles. We're going to extend the arms up toward the ceiling, palms face each other, and I want you to really press that lower back into the ground and keep it there for the whole next sequence. As we inhale, we're going to straighten the left leg, bring that right arm back overhead, really pressing through the heel. Notice where that lower back is at and keep pressing it into the ground. Exhale back to center. Inhale, straighten the right leg, bring that left arm back overhead. Exhale, center, and continue with your own breath, alternating opposite arm, opposite leg, but again, all the time conscious of where that lower back is at. A little bit of coordination here as well. So we're always keeping one hand and one shin parallel to the ceiling. So this is our little dead bug, if you want to name it. Again, conscious of that lower back all the time. We're going to meet back at center. From here, we're going to inhale, open the knees out, open the hands out, and then exhale back to center. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Feel free to do this with cactus arms as well. So again, just opening into the hips Opening into the heart. Trying to get as much space on that opening as you can. And again, if you're doing this for a little bit more strength in your own time, you can always use resistance bands for any of these little sequences. And then coming back to center. Again, 90-degree angles at the leg joints, arms extended up, palms face toward the ceiling. Keeping that lower back pressed into the ground. We're going to inhale, straighten both legs, bring those arms back together overhead. Try not to touch down. Exhale back to center. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, center, and continue with your own breath. Again, the important thing here is no arch in that lower back. So we're working strength into that lower back. We're working stability into the pelvis. If you want to bring a little bit of upper core, you can always lift the chest toward the ceiling so the head comes off the ground, but only if you can keep that lower back grounded. Notice the lower we bring those legs to the ground, you will find that lower back wants to come off the ground. So we're trying to resist. Super strong here, nearly there. Last two. Last one. Rest the head. Rest the feet to the ground. We bring those arms out into cactus. We're going to bring the feet the width of the mat apart and allow the knees fall to touch. Pressing that lower back into the ground. Just breathing here in stillness for a couple of moments. So actively pressing the lower back into the ground. We should feel that lovely release into the pelvis. This is a really nice one for releasing into particularly the psoas muscle quite passively. So at the end of the day, at the end of a hard day, where maybe movement isn't what we really need and we just actually need a little bit of restoration. Just focusing in on that lovely belly breath. So just a little reset. We want to bring movement. We're going to inhale at center, and as we exhale, drop the knees over to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, exhale, knees drop over to the left as we look over the right shoulder. And continue with your own breath. Making sure the feet are wide enough apart that the opposite knee has space to fall behind the opposite foot. Really pressing the glutes and lower back into the ground. So we're getting a lovely self-massage each time we come through center. We're trying to get the knees to touch the ground or as close as we can. So we're really working into the inner outer hips. Also getting a little bit into the ITB here. Nice little release. Keep those shoulders grounded, feeling that space into the chest. And then eventually we'll meet back at center and walking those feet back together. Lovely. We're going to hug the knees into the chest, crisscross the ankles. So if the lower back is particularly tight, we can just roll the once. If we want a little bit of self-massage, we're going to catch hold of the front of the ankles, if we can, or shins if we can't. Relax the shoulders back, and we're going to rock and roll a few times here together. So inhale forward, exhale back. So working for momentum. We're not rocking all the way up to seat unless that feels better for your spine this morning. Getting a little bit of core into this as well. We'll do two more. Again, just massaging with the movement. And on our next one, we're going to draw ourselves all the way up to seat. Lovely. Bringing those hands out front. Shifting into the hips, we're going to shift the body weight forward, step back onto the knees and bringing ourselves into a lovely strong tabletop at the center of our mat. Shoulders over elbows over wrists, elbow creases face forward, fingers widely spread. Knees hip width distance apart, hips are stacked over knees. And just notice that the belly's collapsed here. We're going to press into the ground to feel that lower back engage. And just while we're here, we're going to do a few little pelvic tilts. So we're going to inhale, drop the belly. And then exhale, arch into the lower back. So again, just focusing into that lower back area. Hands, arms, shoulders stay where they're at. Don't get too caught up with whether we're inhaling, exhaling, once we're getting that movement, once we're breathing. So I mean, don't get too caught up whether we're exhaling on the arch, inhaling on the arch, once we're going with the count of the breath for this one. So whatever feels most natural to your body this morning, but just don't forget to breathe. Coming to stillness, we're going to just gently rock the hips side to side. So still on our tabletop, pressing the hips side to side. So just focusing in on that lower body for this one. Feel free to tuck the toes under if you need. Feel free to cushion the knees if you need. Coming back to stillness, and we're just going to gently rock forward and back. So again, just encouraging gentle movement here. Eventually we meet back in our tabletop. We're going to inhale, draw the chest forward as we take the gaze up and arch the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, gaze back to the belly, and continue with your own breath. So we're involving the whole length of the spine here. Trying to create as much space between each and every single vertebrae. Relax the breath. Feel free to sigh it out if it feels good. Eyes are closed, so we're just really engaging with that movement. Notice that the elbows are popping out to the side, so try to keep those elbow creases face forward, so we're not putting any pressure on those shoulder joints. Exaggerate the movement, as much space as we can get here. Coming back to center, and then we're just going to make a few little hip circles. So still in our tabletop, we're sitting back, but as we do so, we're making circles. So for either direction, we're going to end up doing both. Relax the head, relax the neck. Again, just creating movement, particularly into that lower body. Meeting back at center, and we'll reverse direction. So again, nice big full circle, sitting all the way back to the heels if you can. Feeling that into the inner outer hips, feeling that into the shoulders, the arms, but particularly into that lower back. Last one, big circle. Lovely, meeting back at center. Left hand comes toward the center of the mat, right palm flips to face us. Knees are a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. We're going to inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, tread the right hand underneath the left as we reach the right fingertips all the way over to the left. Inhale, right arm up and open, gaze follows up. Exhale, thread it through. Last one. Inhale, right arm up and open. Exhale, tread the right hand underneath the left. We're going to rest the ear and shoulder to the ground. We're going to reach those right fingertips as far as they can go to the left. So we're literally dragging that right shoulder underneath the body, pressing the shoulder and arm into the ground, taking the pressure off the head and neck. Pressing that left hand into the ground, we're going to look up toward the ceiling. Really draw that left shoulder back. If we want to go a little bit deeper, we're going to inhale the left arm up toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, reach the left arm all the way to the front of the room, and then rest the left hand on the ground out in front. Notice if the left hand's all the way over to the left, we're going to walk those finger pads all the way over to the right if we can. So we should be able to look up underneath the armpit if it's not too stressful on the neck. Nice full belly breaths here. Feeling that into the spine again, particularly into that lower back, into the hips, into the shoulder. One more breath. The left hand comes back in line with the face. We'll inhale the right arm up nice and slowly, taking the gaze up if it feels good. And then exhale, right hand back to the ground. Same on the other side, right hand comes toward the center, but slightly off center. Inhale the left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, tread the left hand underneath the right as we tread those fingers all the way over to the right. Inhale, left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, thread it through. Keep the hips high. Inhale, left arm up and open. This time as we exhale, tread the left hand all the way underneath. We're going to rest the left shoulder, left ear to the ground. reaching those left fingertips as far out to the right as we can. Notice if we're sitting back onto the heels, trying to lift those hips so we're really releasing into that lower back. Pressing that right hand into the ground to draw the right shoulder back, and hopefully taking that gaze up. If that feels good, we want to go further. We can inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, reach the right arm all the way overhead out front, landing the hand to the ground, but we've got a nice active arm, so it's not just hanging out there. Really active, maybe even coming up onto the finger pads and walking those finger pads a little bit further out to the left, looking up underneath the armpit. Nice full belly breaths here. Breathing deeply for 3. Active in that right arm for 2. And 1, bringing the right hand back in line with the face. We're going to inhale the left arm up toward the ceiling, opening the heart nice and wide. And as we exhale, left hand comes back to the ground. Lovely. Knees are hip width distance apart. We're going to tuck the toes under. Walking those hands forward out in front and just gently sit back toward the heels. Resting the forehead toward the ground or to a block if it doesn't quite reach. Just coming into a little child's pose variation here, wriggling through the toes, feeling that activation into the feet, particularly those arches of the feet. Take your time here. Feeling that space into the spine again as we sit back, particularly into that lower back. We're going to look back between the toes. Pressing hands and feet firmly into the ground. We're going to hover the knees, lift the hips as high as we can, coming right up onto the tippy toes, and then gently lower those heels down toward the ground as close as we can get them. Pressing the ground away, draw the chest a little bit closer toward the mat. We're going to gently paddle out those feet. Opposite heel melting toward the ground. And just notice if one's melting a little bit easier than the other. Relax the breath, relax the head, relax the neck. Looking forward between the hands, we're going to gently paddle our way to the front of the mat. Coming to a nice wide-legged forward fold, wider than the width of the mat apart. You can go sideways on the mat if you need a little bit more grip for those feet. Slightly pigeon-toed. The weight is back into the heels and hips. Fingertips are in line with the big toes. Use your block if you need to. So again, legs are straight here. So bring the legs wider or use our block to lengthen out those arms. We have a nice straight spine. So we're not rounding here, nice open heart. Left fingertips stay grounded. We're going to inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left arm up and open. Exhale, release. Continue with your own breath. Using the hand that's on the ground as an extra little bit of leverage as we press it into the ground, opening into the heart a little bit more. Gaze is following that extended arm up, so we're trying to get as much space into the chest. See if you can wiggle those toes so you know the weight is going backwards as opposed to forwards. Try to create as much space here as we can. Relax the breath. Feel free to close down the eyes if it feels good. Sigh the breath out if it feels good. Last one, both sides. Staying in our folds. We're going to reach that right hand all the way to the outside of the right leg, and then we're going to bring that right arm up. Sorry, left hand to the outside of the right leg, bringing that right arm up. And just using that left hand on the leg as an extra little bit of leverage to draw ourselves into that twist. Maybe placing that right hand to the top crease of the left leg, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1, release into our fold. Right hand crosses over to catch hold of the outside of the left leg. As close to the ankle as we can get, but not forcing it. And then we'll inhale the left arm up, pressing that right hand into the outer leg, getting a little bit more leverage. Maybe getting the left hand resting it to the lower back or catching hold of the little crease at the top of the right thigh. Legs are still straight. We're drawing the left shoulder back for 3, for 2, and 1, release and fold. Nice and relaxed here, taking a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out, let it go. And then gently tuck the chin in. We're going to slowly roll our way all the way up to stand. Head comes up last. And then gently walk those feet toward each other. Take a little drink here if you need. We're going to flow it out for the rest of the class this morning. So quite a lot of engagement and mobilization into that whole pelvic lower back area. So we should feel quite strong and activated going into our sequence. If you have a block, you might want to place it toward the front edge of the mat. Okay, for the strap this morning. So coming to the front of the mat. Feet are nicely grounded, hip width distance apart. Hands to heart, relax the shoulders, lengthening tall through the spine. Find a point out in front to focus your gaze. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right hand stays grounded. We'll inhale the left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, left hand back to the ground. Stepping left foot back to meet right. Nice strong plank, shoulders over elbows over wrists. Pressing the ground away, keeping those joints stacked. If it's too much on the shoulders, drop to the knees, but maintain that lovely line from the neck to the knees or the neck to the heels for 3. Drawing the belly button in for 2. And 1. Knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows tucked in, roll the heart forward. Untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, lift the hips. Downward dog. Inhale the right leg up, looking forward, bend the right knee into the chest. We're going to shift the body weight forward to place that right foot between the hands, sinking those hips toward the ground. Holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Shift the body weight forward. We place that left foot up to meet right, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, left hand's grounded. Inhale, right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, right hand back to the ground. Stepping right foot back to plank. Knees on or off the ground, but just maintain that lovely straight line. And then from here, we're just going to rock the body forward and back, still in our plank. Micro movements, keep those hips level. For 3, for 2, and 1. And then exhale, knees, chest into the ground, elbows tucked in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, downward dog. Take a nice deep breath here. Release. Inhale, left leg back and up, looking forward, bend the left knee into the chest. We'll shift the body weight forward to place that left foot softly between the hands. Lowering that right hip, holding it here, feeling that release for 3, for 2, and 1. Shift the body weight forward. We place the right foot up to meet left, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Second round when you're ready. Meaning at the front, feet nicely grounded. Hip width distance apart, shoulders relaxed, belly drawn in. We'll inhale both arms, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right hand's grounded. We'll inhale the left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, left hand back to the ground. Stepping left foot back to meet right. Knees on or off the ground. We're going to bring that left hand a little bit closer toward the center, but slightly off center. Coming on to the outer blade of that left foot. Bringing that right hand to the waist. So this can be done with the left knee on the ground. We're lifting the hips upward and slightly forward. Maybe extending that right arm up toward the ceiling. And then our last variation, drawing the right toe toward the knee. We're going to lift that right leg. Holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the foot, release that right hand back to the ground, meeting in our high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, elbows in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, lift the hips. Downward dog, stillness or walk it out. Relax the head, relax the neck, relax the breath. Taking any little movement that feels good in the body. We're going to add in a little challenge here. So from our downward dog, and this can be done with the left knee on the ground if you want to try in first and see how you're going. So left foot stays grounded. We're going to inhale the right leg up toward the ceiling. As we exhale, bend the right knee. We're going to move forward into plank and touch that right knee toward the right elbow. So all the way into plank. Inhale, right leg back and up. Exhale, right knee toward the nose as we move all the way into plank. So those shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Inhale, right leg back and up. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Twist in our plank. Inhale, right leg back and up. Exhale, knee to nose. Again, remember this can be done with the right knee on the ground. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Plank. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Twist. Last one, inhale, right leg back. This time as we exhale, we're going to draw that right knee into the chest. Gently shift the body weight forward to place the right foot between the hands. Softening those hips toward the ground. We're on the finger pads for 3. For 2. And 1, shifting the body weight forward, we lift the left foot up to meet right, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold, stepping left foot back to lunge, left hand stays grounded. We'll inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, right hand back to the ground, stepping right foot back to plank. Knees on or off the ground. If you want to come into our side plank, again, stay here if it feels better. Right hand comes toward the center. We're coming on to the outer blade of the right foot, shoulders stacked over the wrists. We're turning the body to the left. Left hand is on the hip. We're pressing the hips forward and upward, engaging into the side core here. Maybe extend the left arm up toward the ceiling. That might be enough. Maybe draw the left toe toward the knee and lift that back foot. Holding it here strong for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the foot, release the left hand, readjusting ourselves back into our high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in, roll the heart forward. Untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Keep the lift, see if we can hover the hands off the ground. So really engaging with those back muscles, those glute muscles, pressing the belly into the ground for 3. Pressing feet into the ground for 2. And 1, release the hands. Tuck the toes, press the ground away, lift the hips. Downward dog, stillness, walk it out, child's pose if you wish. Noticing the breath, noticing if it's caught up in the chest, just see if we can draw it a little bit deeper down into the belly. So from our downward dog, again, remember this can be done with the right knee on the ground. You're still getting a lovely core engagement, you're still getting a lovely space into the hip. Right foot stays where it's at. We're in our downward dog, inhale. Left leg back and up as we exhale, bend the left knee. Move all the way forward into plank as we touch that left knee to the left elbow. Inhale, left leg back and up. Exhale, left knee toward nose, all the way into plank. Inhale, left leg back and up. Exhale, left knee to right elbow, twist in our plank. Inhale, left leg back and up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, left knee to left elbow, plank. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, left knee to right elbow, twist. Last one, inhale, left leg back. This time as we exhale, bending the left knee in, we'll shift the body weight forward to place that left foot between the hands. Softening the right hip toward the ground, holding it here for 3. For 2. And 1. We're going to soften the right knee to the ground, untuck the toe. Bending the left knee, we're going to place the shin toward the ground. We're going to set up for our pigeon. Shifting that right knee back a little bit further so we can sink those hips toward the ground. And then walking the finger pads back in line with the body. So that left shin is anywhere between 30-45 degrees parallel to the front edge of the mat. No stress on the knee, so keep drawing that left toe toward the knee. And we can just stay here in our proud pigeon for a couple of breaths. Sinking that right hip, balancing the hip. So notice if we're falling over to the left a little bit more so than to the right, even shifting the hip side to side. If this is inaccessible for you this morning, feel free to come into your 90 degree legs. Same pose, just not quite as intense. Breathing deeply, holding it here for 3. For 2. And 1. Feel free to stay here in our proud pigeon, otherwise we're going to walk the hands forward. Coming down onto the forearms, sinking the body weight forward, maybe reaching those arms out in front. And resting the forehead to the ground or to a block if it doesn't reach. So just making sure the head and neck feel relaxed, fully supported. We have an option here to do our thread the needle. So we can keep that left hand out in front and thread that right arm underneath the left, resting the right shoulder to the ground. So we're just going to feel that a little bit more intense. Again, option only. If we have chosen to thread the needle, that arm is right back in line with the ear. And we're going to feel that quite a little bit deeper into the left hip here as well. Breathing, relaxing, releasing. We're going to stay here for just under a minute. So again, just see how you feel. Taking any little adjustments, anything that makes the pose feel more comfortable or allows you to have a better release. Nice full belly breaths. So if we have threaded the needle, we're just going to bring that left hand back by the face and unthread the needle. Everybody else coming back up onto the forearms. And then gently walking the hands back up toward the body until we're back in our nice proud pigeon. We're just going to pause here for a couple of breaths. Sinking the hips. Drawing the belly in so there's no pressure on that lower back. We'll walk the hands forward. Spreading widely through those fingers. We're going to tuck the right toe under, come off the knee, and really slowly and mindfully, we bring that left foot back, round to meet right, lift the hips, and walk it out ever so softly in our downward dog. So again, taking any movements that feel good for your body here. Just focusing on getting a little bit of blood flow and energy, particularly back into that left side. We're going to meet in stillness. Inhale the right leg back and up. Looking forward, we're going to bend the right knee and we're going to place it all the way behind that right wrist. Resting the shin to the ground, resting the left knee to the ground, untuck the toe, and then shift that left foot back as far as feels comfortable. Drawing the right toe toward the right knee, so we're keeping that lower leg active. And we're going to come up onto the finger pads here. Again, notice if we're overarching, keep drawing that belly button in, feeling nice and stable here. If you need to come into your 90 degree legs, keeping that right shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. And just sinking, releasing. Nice full belly breaths. If that feels good, we can stay here. Otherwise, we're going to walk our hands forward. Coming down onto the forearms, this might be where we stay. We might extend those arms forward, resting the forehead to the ground, to a block or to a little cushion. Melting the chest, melting the belly. If we feel like going a little bit further, just coming off the head here, we're going to tread the left hand underneath the right armpit, resting the left ear toward the ground, and working those right fingertips all the way over to the left. Again, as well as opening into the heart and spine, we're going to feel that a little bit deeper into the right hip. So don't force it, only if this feels like a good place to be. I want you to feel more so that you're releasing into the pose as opposed to holding the pose. Nice full belly breath. In and out through the nose. Feeling that release. Adjusting if you need. So don't sit with a pose if it doesn't feel healthy, if it doesn't feel comfortable. Find your own space, find something that feels good, and then allow the body melt into that space. And then if it wants to go deeper, it will. Just a couple of more breaths on this side. Lovely. If we have threaded the needle, just bringing that right hand back in line with the face, slowly untreading our needle, and then everybody, we're going to come up onto our forearms. Just pause here for a moment. And then gently tuck the chin in. We'll walk the hands back toward the body until we're back up onto the finger pads, back into our lovely pride pigeon. And again, just breathing into that space. If we haven't been here, sink in the hips, relax the shoulders, drawing the belly in. And then gently, we'll walk the hands out front, fingers widely spread. Tuck the left toe under, come off the knee, and really slowly and mindfully bring the right foot back to meet left, lift the hips. Walking it out one last time in our downward dog, taking any movements that feel good for you. Maybe rocking the hips side to side, maybe looking out underneath the opposite armpit, getting a nice stretch into the side waist, maybe even into the hip. Rocking forward and back onto those feet, getting a nice little self massage, the whole length of the foot. Noticing if those heels are coming down a little bit easier, maybe not. Lifting the hips, feeling that space in the lower back. Relax the breath. And eventually we come to stillness. We're going to release down onto the knees. Bring the knees about the width of the mat apart, allow the toes touch. And gently sit back toward the heels, pressing the ground away, rocking the hips side to side. We're going to make a little pillow by piling one hand or one fist on top of the other, resting the forehead. And if it doesn't rest, use our block. Again, just shifting the hips side to side, rocking the head side to side, releasing any last little bit of tension that we're holding on to in the body. So releasing anything that does not serve us purpose. Relax the breath, melting the heart, melting the belly. Feel that space in the body, and eventually we come to stillness. In our child's pose, nice and grounded. Noticing the breath, noticing if we're holding it. Notice if it's caught up in the chest, and just see if we can draw it nice and deep down into the belly. Feeling the rib cage expand, feeling the diaphragm lift, feeling the heart open. And as you exhale, sigh it out, release and let it go. And you do that a couple of times, just to your own breath. Creating space in the body in the inhale. And just releasing it all out on that exhale. Each exhale, allow the body soften, allow the mind relax, allow the breath relax. And just coming back to our own natural breath. Noticing it. When you're ready, we're going to press both hands into the ground, tuck the chin into the chest, and slowly walk the hands back toward the knees until we're sitting all the way back up onto the heels. And we can shimmy those knees together. We can finish here, sitting back onto the heels. We can come back into easy cross-legged or any other seat that feels best for you this morning. And we're going to finish just like we started with 3 nice active closing breath. So sitting as nice and tall and open into the heart, long into the spine. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling. And then inhale both arms out, reach it up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out and let it go. And we do that twice more. Bringing the hands to heart, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourselves for creating a wee bit of space in your morning to come to the mat, to look after yourself, to create some lovely energy, some lovely strength and stability. And hopefully take that with you into the day and into the rest of the week ahead. And thank you for sharing your practice and your energy with me. Namaste.